Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mug Up with BBNC. My name is Anise, and with me is Kayla.
Hi guys.
Today we have a very special episode for you. We will be sitting down with the winners of the Bristol Bay Marketplace competition put on by Alaska Growth Capital and Spruce Root. Now, if you want to learn more about the Marketplace competition, go ahead and check out our last episode. We interviewed Logan Birch and Mary Miner from Alaska Growth Capital. They share all about the Marketplace competition, as well as Alaska Growth Capital and its origin. It's a super insightful conversation, so we highly recommend that you go and give it a listen. Now, for our first guest, we have Nels Ure, who is joining us virtually.
Nels, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me today. I'm really excited to chat with you ladies about the Marketplace competition.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Nels Ure. Well, I ended up in Naknek because I married a Naknek girl. I'm the spouse of a shareholder, and I have been doing a lot of work in communications, always had a passion for photography, and, I had a great idea for a business and saw that this opportunity was available, so I decided to try my luck.
How long have you been in Naknek?
Well, I moved out to Naknek in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. So that was quite a wild time, but, got there and really integrated very quickly. I worked for the borough for a while, and then I started working with an organization called Commercial Fishermen for Bristol Bay that's based out of Dillingham.
Are you a commercial fisherman yourself?
Of course, I am. Yeah, I've been fishing in Bristol Bay for just about 15 years, so more than half my life now, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, I started fishing with my dad when I was 13, and well, I don't know if you fall in love with fishing or if it's forced into you when you grow up in the industry, but I'm hoping that in the future my daughter decides to fish with me, because I will give her that option.
Oh, of course. Nels, you have to tell our audience what your Instagram handle is, because I feel like you post the most fun fishing content. It's always like so trendy. And I look at it and like doing communications at BBNC, I'm always like, oh, why didn't I think about that?
Like, your photography is great.
Wait, you're way too kind. Yeah, my Instagram handle is at Nels Ure. That's NELZURE. And yeah, a big reason that I started the Marketplace competition process was because I was making all this fun content for fun, and then I had people reaching out to me, like in the fishing industry, in people who wanted to know more about fishing in Bristol Bay, that asked me to make content or hired me to do photos, and then I thought, this is quite lucrative. Like, why don't I try and make a little business out of it? After just some of my limited experience in the seafood industry and working on some campaigns that were related to Bristol Bay, I noticed that most of the people in the communication sphere, the photography, videography, didn't actually have a lot of connections to the region. And the little nuances of telling our stories, for instance, in the fishing industry, when an organization builds a design and it's a seine boat instead of a drift boat. That's something in Bristol Bay that we take really seriously, but it really across all sectors was a problem that I noticed. And so I really wanted to start Bristol Bay Media as a area and culturally relevant communications agency that can do work for rural Alaska and Bristol Bay specifically. And that was just a need that I really felt like needed to be addressed in some of the comms work that goes on in our region.
That's so cool.
That's also such a good segue.
Yes, such a good segue. Tell us about your business.
Ooh, okay, my business. Like I said, like photo, video, media, social media was all just kind of a hobby or something that I was doing as like an air quote side hustle. And then in 2022, when I left the borough and started working for Commercial Fishermen for Bristol Bay, I also started my little business called Bristol Bay Media. And what I really try and do in Bristol Bay Media is, I like to call it a jack of all trades. I can do photography, videography, help people with their strategic messaging, help them kind of identify either strengths or pitfalls in their brand, and just give businesses, organizations, nonprofits, individuals, just some consulting and help with with their communications.
Do you mainly work with fishermen, or is it a wide variety of people that you work with?
I've worked with a wide variety of people now. I've worked with the Bristol Bay Regional Seafood Development Association, which markets Bristol Bay sockeye. So, of course, I've gone out on boats and taken photos. A few years ago, I worked with the Lake and Peninsula School District, which was one of my favorite projects. They sent me in, the Bush Plains to all 14 communities that are in their school district to take their school photos, which was just such a cool way to see Bristol Bay, a great way to connect with communities. And they hadn't had school photos since before COVID when I went out. And so it was just a really great time to kind of like restart that. Who else have I worked with? Grundens is one of my newer clients, which I'm really excited about. I did some work with them in Kodiak for salmon seining, and then I went out with them in January of 2025 for tanner crabs, and I think I finally got them on the hook for Bristol Bay because I mean, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir right now, but there's no place like Bristol Bay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm thoroughly impressed. Like, my jaw's on the floor. That's really cool.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Obviously, you were inspired by just being in Bristol Bay. How did you hear about the marketplace competition?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. My wife actually sent me, I think, a text about it, and she's like, "So are you going to get serious with your business or what?" And she said you might as well try your luck at it. And I was shocked that I got through the pre-round or the application round, and then even going through the competition. I really didn't think that I was going to make it to getting on the Mug Up podcast, I guess. And so, yeah.
Look how far you've come, Nels. Why were you shocked?
I think it kind of came down to like a little bit of imposter syndrome, if we're going to get really real with it. And it's taking that next step of like really throwing yourself into something. Like, it can be really scary and challenging. But, after going through the process, I think I not only gained a little bit more confidence in what I was doing, but I also was equipped with some like the skills to make it a reality too, which, if you would have asked me 8 months ago how I felt about Bristol Bay Media, I would have been like, yeah, that's just like a side gig that I do. And now I feel like, no, this is my business. This is what I do. So that's been a really nice shift.
That is so cool. Can you tell us more about your experience with the competition? We talked to Logan and Mary a little bit in our last episode, but I want to hear, your thoughts, and from your experience, how was it?
From my experience, it was, well, two things. First off, it was overwhelming because I was like, wow, I have so much to learn as a business owner. But I think that overwhelm was good because through the 3 days in the boot camp, I came in with an idea of, I've just kind of solely run my business by myself. Like, I am quote unquote Bristol Bay Media, like I do it all. But after the competition, they really taught me and gave me the tools and the ideas to scale my business and to, try and expand it to get employees or work with more contractors and actually make a lucrative business for myself, but also scale it because I think they also saw the value in it, or like they see the value in all the businesses clearly, but they like scaling your business to benefit the region or your industry. They really helped me tune into that.
And from our conversation with them, it sounded like not only did you learn a lot from everybody else, but everyone's learning from everybody, depending on if they're starting a new business, if they, already have a business. So that I think is super cool.
Completely. I could not agree more with that. And then throughout the boot camp, they also bring in past winners who shared their experiences, their successes, their struggles, advice, also just business leaders from across the state of Alaska. Like, they really did a great job at connecting you with a diverse group of business owners and people. Like, I felt like there was someone there that I could talk to media about, and there was someone else who was doing had a fish processing idea, and they connected them with someone who could help them with that. And so there was just so much opportunity there for all of the diverse businesses that applied for the competition, which was so neat.
That is so cool. I kind of want to be a fly on the wall next year. Maybe we'll be there.
Definitely.
Maybe we'll take Mug Up on the road.
I know. Logan was really, when we walked down after the podcast, he was really pining for that.
Oh, that would be so fun. And Nels, maybe
Totally.
you'll be a guest speaker next year.
Maybe. Oh, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Okay, so tell us, what did like a typical day look like for you at the competition?
Well, a typical day from memory, it was a little bit of time ago. was, get there, a little bit of networking in the morning. They usually had a few kind of breakout sessions in the morning. For instance, one day, like there was a whole tax breakout session, and so a sole proprietorship could go to one, and then an LLC would go to another versus another, and they gave us tax advice, which was really neat. Another one was all about finances. Another one was about your brand. And so throughout the day, they kept us very engaged with an even mix of networking with businesses, giving us technical skills and presentations about the business. I think the one that really sticks out to me now is a breakout session that was really focused on how your business is giving back to communities. Like, is there a social aspect that your business is giving back to the community? Is there an environmental initiative that your business can take on that either benefits the environment or reduces waste, reduces your inventory? They really took a holistic approach to your business and trying to make it not only best for you, but best for your community and the environment, which I really loved.
Yeah, I love that. Just things that you like don't really think of until people are like, hey, customers will buy from your business or they'll be your clients if a lot of the times you're giving back to communities.
Completely.
Were there any surprises to you?
What surprised me most about the competition was being there with other marketplace competitions going on. So, Bristol Bay had its, I think, 10 businesses that were in our competition. There were 10 from the Aleut Marketplace and from the North Slope. And all of our ideas about our businesses and the way they could benefit our community were so different. And the innovation was so neat to see. I really felt like you were there with a bunch of forward thinking and inspired people about how to make their businesses successful while also giving back to their specific community needs.
I love that. Just a bunch of different industries, but you all have something in common, which is so cool. You kind of talked about, the social aspect of it and like learning about taxes. Was there anything else that you learned as far as like a new skill goes?
A new skill that we learned there, and we all had to learn there, was your business pitch. So day one, they tell you on day 3, you get one take, and we're going to record you in your business pitch. And so throughout the 3 days, they're helping you think about your business, think about your values, think about your services and what you're doing. And then they challenge you and give you time to practice, of course, to pitch your business. And that was, I believe, a part of the competition review, was that your 60-second business pitch went in there. And there was no one there that wasn't nervous about that one take pitching your business. But I'd say since then, I've used that pitch so many times. It was great to get it there and get it practiced, have other people who are trying to build their business or pitch their business tell you what they think works, what doesn't. And that was probably, I think, one skill that I've brought with me from the competition.
How many times do you think you practiced your pitch?
Oh gosh, I like too many times. Like they were full days, Like it was, you start, I think, around 9, go till about 4 or 5, go home, have dinner, and then I feel like all of us were practicing our pitches for quite some time after the competition.
Yeah, I'd be the same way. I think I would be like rehearsing it in my sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So low key, they really are also teaching you like how to public speak, which is so important, not just, like in starting a business or in expanding your business, but really just in life. Like we're all public speaking all the time. So that is so cool.
I really think so. And I think I don't want to speak for all of us, but I do think that pitch section is so helpful, even when you're trying to get a new client, when someone's like, well, why should I go with Bristol Bay Media? And then you have your whole spiel about, what your business does, who you are, why they should go with you. And it's been great.
Yeah, really believing in yourself and believing in your business is important, especially when you're talking to customers. Did you have any challenges, or what was the most challenging part of the competition?
I think the most challenging part of the competition for me was the financial section, and was just looking at your business purely from a numbers perspective on how to make it viable. Because it's one thing to have a dream, and then it's another thing when that dream's on paper and trying to bring it into reality. And so the finance section was hard for me to wrap my my head around at first, especially since I'm a very service-based business, where, other businesses that do inventory looks a lot different. But for me, that was the most challenging part. And what was really great was after the competition, there were opportunities to meet with some of the business advisors prior to final application being due. And so I got to meet with one of them a few times and actually dig into how to make my business and my services viable. So that was a challenge, and then how the marketplace allowed me to overcome it, really.
Looking back, was there a moment where you felt the most proud, like of yourself or of your business?
As much as this is called a competition, it really all felt like, I don't think anyone there actually felt like we were in competition with each other. Like the air there was very supportive. And that's, I think, what makes me feel really proud, is because everyone there was trying to build something like for their family, for their community, like for their specific industry. And I just felt a lot of support there, and I felt like I supported others. And so I think those are the moments that make me feel really proud of the experience there.
Yeah, it
Love
sounds like
that.
a great community.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I don't know, you can speak for yourself, but it sounds like you probably made a lot of friends or a lot of connections that you'll keep for a lifetime.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, completely. And it's so cool. You also get to like network with other businesses. Like obviously some of them have services that you either want to take advantage of or
Mhm.
figure out how to work with in the future. And so yeah, I would agree that in terms of networking and making friends, I definitely felt like the nine other individuals there are all people that I've stayed connected with.
So, Nels, with everything that you've learned, what's one piece of advice you'd give to other small business owners?
Well, I'd say for anyone who has the opportunity to apply for the marketplace competition, you definitely should. I am someone who, at the beginning of this, definitely had some imposter syndrome, and I just really think, as cliche as it sounds, just believing in yourself and taking that step forward with your business is the most important step. And when you have an opportunity like the marketplace, I think it just makes it that much easier to get the skills to really put yourself on a path to success for your business.
Nels, tell us what's next for your business and where people can find you.
So what's up next for me is, signing on clients for 2025, which is really exciting. That's what's going on in my day to day. After the marketplace competition, I have some new equipment that I'm getting to make better content, which I'm really excited about. And I'm also going through kind of a website and social rebrand. So things are currently under wraps. I'm hoping to have them up and running prior to salmon season, of course. But for now, people can either find me on Instagram at my handle at Nels Ure, or you can email me at bristolbaymedia@gmail.com. And then moving forward, I'll have some more info on my website and professional socials.
That sounds so awesome. I'm really excited for you.
Yeah, same. Congratulations again, Nels. We are so, so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I really appreciate it. It was a really awesome experience, and I really feel a part of the family. So thank you guys so much for today.
Oh, good. Well, perfect. Well, thank you for being on Mug Up and sharing your experience. I'm sure our audience will love it. Well, our next guest is Beth Hill with Tulch'ina Adventures. Hi, Beth. Welcome to the podcast. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Beth, and I am married to Warren Hill, who's a shareholder. We live in Port Allsworth on Lake Clark, and that is in Lake Clark National Park. We live on Warren's grandmother's native allotment land, which we have purchased from our family. And when we did this with the idea of making a life out here. So we moved to Port Allsworth in 2008, decided to make a lifestyle choice is how we like to word it. We just love it being out here, and it's quiet. Anchorage really isn't our style in that, and we decided to start Tulch'ina Adventures to try and help us with this lifestyle. He works for Lake Clark National Park, and I primarily run our business, which has been a fun project. It started out as just a kayak rental business, and we've taken it and grown from there. We have a water taxi. We hired Bristol Bay Boats out of Homer to build us a custom boat. So we haul kayaks around on the lake, and tourists, we also haul freight for locals. We have a campground in Port Allsworth, and we also have a vacation rental on the lake shore. And we're excited about this grant opportunity to build some really simple cabins that will allow for a more affordable option for our guests to visit Lake Clark National Park.
Yeah, I've actually been to Beth and Warren's campsites, and they're really cool. Beth, can you share a little bit about your setup? Because there's no cabins on your property right now. So when guests come, where do they stay?
Well, we have a campground in Port Allsworth, and there's little hut shelters that our guests can stay in. And they're 10 feet by 12 feet, and they have a wooden platform with a roof that's made out of that clear greenhouse roofing. And then the walls are all mosquito netted. And so this gives our guests a chance to, they're glamping basically. They can get shelter from the rain and the bugs, and they can camp and get a hot shower without having to, go stay at a $500 a night or $700 a night Airbnb or full service lodge in Port Allsworth. We have a fancy cabin, I guess you would call it, or vacation rental on the shore of Lake Clark. And this, if somebody wanted to go and have all their bedding provided for them and internet and indoor plumbing and that's where they would stay. So what we're doing with the grant is we're building cabins that are super simple, kind of like public use style cabins where you would go and you would bring your own sleeping bag, and there's no indoor plumbing. You're going to use an outhouse and maybe an outdoor shower setup. So we're excited about this opportunity that'll give a better price point for our guests.
Well, one day, Beth, I plan to go. I heard it's beautiful. I'm very jealous of a niece. And anyone who goes there, from the pictures that I've seen, it looks amazing. And it seems like you guys have a lot of activities, not only kayaking, but it looks like backpacking and just fun things to do. So one day I'll make it out there. I do want to congratulate you because you are a winner of the Bristol Bay Marketplace competition. Can you tell us more about the competition? Like, what intrigued you to join?
Well, I think that I didn't really know what to expect in joining. And obviously the intrigue was, we've talked about building these simple cabins for years, and then the chance to win this grant was kind of a push for the business, So we're at this point where we really do need to expand, and this was just such a great opportunity. And I didn't know what to expect, and I have to say it was well done, and I would recommend going through the process to any small business owner, whether you're just starting out or whether you've had a business for a while. I think there's a lot to take away from the whole process.
How did you hear about the competition? Did someone tell you about it? Did you read about it online?
Social media. That's definitely how we saw it.
So can you tell us more about your experience with the competition? What did a typical day look like?
We went to Anchorage, and we all attended a seminar, and they had everything scheduled out as far as like activities and that to develop certain areas of your business and how to go about doing certain things like your finances and how to write a business plan, how to do a business pitch, just a lot of coaching. They were available for one-on-one activities as well as group activities. It was a really well done experience, and I think there was a lot of information to take out of it. It was good, and I think one of the exciting things about it was, having owned a business and that, it was kind of exciting for me to see the excitement of other people that were just starting out and had all these fresh ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there were a mix of people and different types of businesses that were represented there. Did you have a favorite aspect of the competition?
I think for me, one of the challenges I had was, and I think a lot of people did, was the business pitch. And so I think that was something that I took value out of making. You got to convince people that your business idea is worthy. And I think for me, that was a challenging one. And I think that was a good breakout session and coaching activity that they did.
One thing I'm curious about, Beth, is like Anise mentioned, there are various businesses that are in different stages of their businesses. Like we talked to Nels, and he was at the beginning, but you kind of already have this like established business. Did you feel like, I can kind of see you as being like the mama hen, being like, don't do that, you got to do this, like been there before. Did you feel that way at all? Like kind of like a mentor, I guess. I'm curious.
I wouldn't say necessarily a mentor. There was definitely, things that I've already experienced and that I, maybe was kind of redundant for me, but I saw value in getting reminders about things. So I think sometimes as you go along, you sort of forget things and you kind of get complacent. And I think that there was value in even the things that I've already been doing and knew about. And I think that this would be a good thing for anybody that wants to start a small business, is to attend a seminar like this.
Looking back, was there a moment where you felt the most proud or you felt the most accomplished during the seminar?
So one thing, I've written grants before and business plans and that, and you don't always know who your competition is. And I think for me, being able to hear everybody's business plans and their pitches, their ideas, and get to know them, I really enjoyed that. I felt like there were so many people that deserved to win the grant. I think that there was a lot of good ideas and energy out there. So for me, that was something I enjoyed out of the whole process.
What's one key takeaway or piece of advice that you'd give to a small business that's interested in joining the competition, or just a small business in general that's listening to this podcast?
For me, anybody that is thinking about joining the competition as a small business, that there is a lot you can learn from it. And it also gives you a challenge, maybe put you outside your comfort zone a little bit. And I think that is really good for expanding, and also if you're just starting out, just kind of giving you an idea of what it is that you're getting into. I think it's a very valuable experience for anybody who's started a business already or who's looking at starting a business. I think there's a lot of good information that you can get out there, and just being involved and, working with peers or people that might have good advice that you weren't thinking about. If you're running a business, it's always good to have somebody to throw ideas back and forth with, and talk about things, because you might not be seeing everything out there, and just have ideas and resources. Attending the seminar sort of opened up ideas on what kind of resources are out there for a lot of these people that were probably trying to start a new business. That would be a recommendation I would have if you were thinking about starting a business, is to get out and talk to other people.
Yeah, and I'm sure with being in Port Allsworth, there's not a ton of networking going on. So I'm sure that things like this are really helpful for especially those businesses in remote communities.
Yeah, for sure.
So Beth, tell us what's next for your business. You kind of talked about the cabins. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How many cabins are you trying to build? Is there anything else that's you're looking forward to in the future?
We are initially going to try to build 2 cabins, and I think that this will open up a lot of opportunities for us. A lot of times our lodging is full, and there's not a lot of options for visitors to Lake Clark National Park. So I think this will really open up some opportunity for not only our guests, but also for us. I know, one thing we do is kayak rentals, and Lake Clark National Park is trying to create a water route and campsites around Lake Clark. That's something that we're looking forward to, is to have more destinations for our kayakers. So that's an exciting thing that's also coming up. Will be good for us and our guests.
I want to go back so bad. It was so pretty. When I left, just looking out over the water, it's like blue. It's the most blue water I've ever seen in Alaska. And so you definitely live in a really cool place, Beth, and your business is awesome. And it allows people not only from the lower 48, but in Alaska to see parts of Alaska that not everyone gets to see every day. And it's so unique. Where can people find your business? Do you guys have a website?
We do. It is at www.tulch'inaadventures.com.
All right, Beth. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, congratulations on being a Bristol Bay Marketplace winner. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Kayla Robson with Sunshine Auto Parts. She was the 3rd Bristol Bay Marketplace competition winner, and she was unable to be on the podcast, but we just want to say congratulations on this amazing accomplishment and give her a shout out. If you like this podcast, go ahead and give us a follow on Spotify or anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
We are one Bristol Bay. No matter the distance, we are connected through a shared purpose to create a path for the generations that follow. Bristol Bay Native Corporation. Always more than a corporation.